So here's a quick lesson on what we're going to do in class later in the week. We're going to put the world on a pumpkin. So let's just go through a few things you need before we put the world on the pumpkin. First, you're going to practice on a piece of paper. You're going to have two views of your pumpkin. The first view of your pumpkin is actually a side view of your pumpkin, right here. And the second view is looking down on the pumpkin as if this is your stem. Okay. All right, here we go. Your pumpkin will need latitude lines. Remember, your latitude lines run north on your pumpkin, and your latitude lines run south on your pumpkin like your ladder rungs. You are going to be measuring your pumpkin from the North Pole, which is the stem, to the South Pole, which is the bottom of the pumpkin. Once you have that measurement, you'll split that measurement in half, and from there, you will be drawing your equator. So wherever half of your pumpkin is, you'll then draw the equator and label your equator. You will then be splitting your pumpkin into thirds. You have your North Pole, and then you'll have two other lines of latitude, and then you will have at the bottom your South Pole and two other lines of latitude. So you need to split that in thirds, with 90 being the South Pole and 90 being your North Pole. So you're going to come in tomorrow telling me what these degrees will be. For your longitude lines, remember, run from the North Pole to the South Pole. You're going to be adding those onto your pumpkin as well. So if we're looking down at the pumpkin, this is the North Pole here, and you're going to be adding your lines of longitude leaving the North Pole. So you'll first create the prime meridian somewhere on the pumpkin. You choose where that will be. And then remember, there's two hemispheres, so you're going to split your pumpkin in half, and this will be 180 east, and this will be 180 west. Once you split your pumpkin into two hemispheres, you then need to create 4 equal sections to your pumpkin. So this is your east and this is your west. If I'm dividing our pumpkin equally, I need to know what these 3 longitude lines will be. That is also your homework tonight. So come in with your latitude lines here, and come in with your longitude lines equally distant. Once your latitude and longitude lines are on, you'll be putting your continents on. Your biggest piece for this is making sure that your continents are within the correct latitude lines. Okay, so you have your prime meridian here. Note where Europe is. Note where Africa is, North America and South America. Please notice if they're on the Western Hemisphere or Eastern Hemisphere, Northern or Southern. You will be graded to make sure they are close to where they need to be. If you have Europe in your Southern Hemisphere, that is going to be an issue. If you have Europe in the Western Hemisphere, that is also going to be an issue. Notice that Europe travels all the way from 0, prime meridian. It goes all the way around your Eastern Hemisphere and actually goes over a little bit onto the Western Hemisphere. So be prepared for that. Okay, so now you're going to actually watch the latitude, longitude lines and everything go on the pumpkin. So keep an eye on this. This is what you'll be doing tomorrow.
All right, you guys, here we go. How to put the world on a pumpkin. We've practiced on papers, and now we're going to use our real pumpkins. I've already put on all your latitude lines, well, on my pumpkin. So once you put your latitude lines on, you're going to label your latitude lines. So for me, I have measured my pumpkin out. This is my equator, so I'm going to label my equator. And then I am going to go south from my equator in the southern hemisphere, and we had to do 2 sets of latitude lines, so evenly spaced. It's 30 degrees south, 60 degrees south, 90 degrees south. Same up top, 0, 30 degrees north, 60 degrees north, and then you have your North Pole. Okay? So there are your latitude lines, sorry. latitude lines are on. Now we're gonna do longitude from the North Pole all the way to the South Pole. I'm gonna do the quicker version for you here when you do it on your pumpkins, but full version all the way from the north to the south. So pick a good vein on your pumpkin to make your longitude lines. So I'm gonna pick my line right here, and I am going to go down, and of course you'll go all the way down your pumpkin to the South Pole, and you're gonna label this 0, which is your prime meridian. Okay? You want to make sure you label them separated a little bit from your latitude lines because you're going to need them to navigate to put on your continents. So, we have the prime meridian. Right across from the prime meridian, we need to split our world in half. So when you split your world in half, your 360-degree circle is now 180. And remember, always on the right is your eastern hemisphere, on your left is your western hemisphere. So you have the east and the west. So you have 180 east and 180 west. So now your pumpkin is split in half here and here. Now you're going to go do hemisphere by hemisphere. This side of the hemisphere needs to be split equally as well as this side without making too many longitude lines on your pumpkin. So we're going to create 3 more longitude lines. So 4 total from your 0 over. So let's take our eastern hemisphere and split it in half using a vein again. And then mirror image on the other side to split in half. Okay, so now you have it in a section. If you just look at the one side, here you see split in half to your 180. Then you're going to split here evenly in between your 0 and 90. You're going to split again. And between 90 and 180, you're going to split again. And it makes it easy if you just take your lines on this side and continue them on the other side of your pumpkin. So now you have 4 longitude lines on the east and 4 longitude lines on the west. And you're going to label them at an equal distance apart. So you have 0, you have 45 east, you have 90 east, you have 135 east, and you have 180 east. On this side of the pumpkin, you have 0, you have 45 west, 90 west, and 135 west. So now you have all your longitude lines on, all the way down your pumpkin, from your North Pole, all the way down to your South Pole. Okay? Once all your longitude lines are on your pumpkin, from your North Pole to South Pole, you're going to work with your partner using the map that you've been given with all the longitude and latitude lines on it, and you're going to put your continents on. We are going to put on Europe together, and then you'll be doing the rest on your own. So let's do Europe. Europe starts near the prime meridian because the prime meridian runs through England. So the prime meridian in England is about 45 degrees north. So here's our 30, here's our 60. So England's going to be about here. So you're going to draw England on your map. Don't need to be perfect. If you're more artistic, your continents are going to look a little better than others, but as long as you're within the range of your latitude and longitude lines, you'll be fine. Don't put Europe below the equator. So, here we go. We're going to start with Spain. Spain and Portugal land and fall below England. I'm looking at the map on the board. And Spain and Portugal is about 45 degrees again. So Spain and Portugal are here. We're going to do the top first. We're going to go up, we're going to add Finland and Sweden. Finland and Sweden and the top of Europe and China come to about 75 degrees north, so they're going to come above your 60 degrees north. And Europe is going to travel along the globe, all the way over, all the way over. See how I'm still going? My 180 is here, my other hemisphere is here. You're going to head all the way over, and Russia actually comes over into the western hemisphere a little bit, comes back, heads down. China is going to head all the way down to 15 degrees north. So that's about here. And you're going to come up. You're going to head back. China, India dips at about 120. So here's India. Then you're going to keep going over From India, you're going to have the Middle East about 60. So we need to keep going, keep going, keep going. This is where your country is going to look a little funny because your latitude and longitude lines are not exact. So I need to keep going till about, so here's 90. I need to go all the way over to about 85 to start the Middle East. So the Middle East is going to dip down, but it can't hit the equator. Middle East, and the Middle East is going to come back up where we have the Red Sea at about 30. So I need to come up, come up, come up. Now we come up from the Middle East. This would be your Red Sea right here. We need to come north a little bit. And Greece is going to come into play. So now we have Greece, and we have Italy, and our countries will connect. Okay, so all of this, all in here, this is all, look at how far over it goes on your pumpkin. It's going all the way over this whole hemisphere. This is all Europe and Asia, all the way across your pumpkin, from your prime meridian all the way over to the other hemisphere, 180 degrees. So here is Europe. Once you're done with Europe, you'll put on all your other continents. Don't forget Antarctica, which will fall all around your southern pole. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to show you how you put your civilizations on. Easy. Civilizations. Mesopotamia. We're in the Middle East. You need to go back, find where you put the Middle East, and put a dot where you would find Mesopotamia. That simple. You're going to find Israel. Israel is going to hit near the Mediterranean Sea. The Mediterranean Sea is here, so Israel is going to be along the Mediterranean Sea. You're going to do that for each one of your civilizations. So you'll have marked your civilizations on your map prior to today, to Pumpkin Day, and it'll make it easier to find them on the map. All right, good luck. Have fun tomorrow.
Okay, so for tomorrow, you're going to come in with 2 different sets of numbers. One set of numbers you're going to come in with for your latitude lines. How are you going to divide your latitude lines if you have your equator here, and then you have a latitude line here, and this is 90 north, and you have your latitude line here, and this is 90 south. So how, if you have 3 sets of latitude lines, what are they going to each be so they're equally spaced apart? Then for your longitude lines, just remember, same thing. I need to know how they're going to be equally spaced apart. You have 0, which is your prime meridian, and the other half of the world, when you split the pumpkin in half, this is 0, this is 180. You're going to add 1, 2, 3. What are the numbers for them evenly spaced apart? Good luck.